You produce a lot of singles. I think one of my best music is Sinking Ship. I don't know. For me, it just speaks to the realities of what's happening around the world, and I think it spoke to the core of some of the things I believe in. Right? What led you to venture into music? And you went into music at a pretty young age as well.
Yes, I started off in Antigua at the age of 13. Was my first appearance on stage, and back then I was called Lenny Fresh. The human beatbox, and back then I wasn't even singing, though I was always quite poetic and a lyricist. I was never brave enough to express it, so I hid behind the instrument of my mouth as a musical instrument. So at 13 years old, I was on stage and sometimes backing up other guys who were doing the hip hop style rap and so on. So back then I was literally doing the and that type of thing, And I mean, even today I can imitate almost any instrument. Yeah. So it was back then. It was really doing the beatbox thing. Later on, I began to step out a bit, and I would just have fun with friends, and we would sing all the crazy stuff because the reggae industry was when it became dancehall, quite a bit of the dancehall began to get polluted with negative lyrics because that was being promoted. Same with hip hop. You find it gets penetrated, and like calypso and soca, they get penetrated with most of the derogatory things that degrade women and disrespect each other, and speak mostly about alcohol and drug abuse and so on. Where back then our lyrics was based around that, so I was having fun with it. We were chanting, singing, and it was all sex and crazy stuff. But then, by the time I met the community, the African Hebrew Israelite community, I felt like I had a purpose for singing now. Because then I was not producing anything. So it was after I met the community, which I met the community at 21 years old. By 27 years old, I released my first album called The Spirit of My People. But then it was still, I found it was still a little rough on the edges, But I was determined then that I had something to say. Only realizing that the Creator had something for me to say. So then, as I evolved and as I grew, so the music also matured, and you'll find my music now, my songs, very direct, also very intentional in terms of what's written, what's expressed, what's recorded, and what's performed. Because real specific that I'm pushing our agenda, which is to breathe life. We're enhancing life and we're giving life. So everything we're doing is pro-life. So you'll find that later on I produced some other albums. I produced The Kingdom Come, which is speaking about the kingdom coming in Israel, in African Hebrew kingdom coming. And then the next album I produced after that, when I got to Kenya, was Africa Is My Home. Africa Is My Home I recorded in 2014 with quite a number of Kenyan artists and collabos. You had Michelle Muriuki, Sagini, Donna. I even had a song with Giuliani back then. That's when we first met. We recorded it with MG in MG Studios. And Africa Is My Home did really well. And it pushed me on to go on. 2018, I did Truth Fire, which is the name of the studio we have today in Westlands. It's called Truth Fire Studios. And the most recent album, The Next Level, is the one I'm really proud of. Probably the most proud of, because now we were able to control the content and the quality and everything of how we produce the music, and having it mastered by Musioka. I think everybody knows Musioka. Yeah, he's a really good friend. And then also, so, and most of my shows, when I'm doing international shows, I call in David Hunter, who is also featured on one of my albums in the song called Fist Up. So he's an excellent show producer and music director. So the career has actually taken me around the world. Music has taken me between music and agriculture. I've seen quite a bit. Over 30 countries, actually, between music and agriculture.
Growing up, did you have someone you used to look up to in the music industry?
Yes. And I think it shifted the more conscious I got, because I would say brothers like Buju Banton, because Buju's not much older than me, but he started off like we started off, and I saw him change and grow. I saw Capleton as well change and grow into being those not just positive and conscious artists, but becoming global images and representation of positive lyrics, positive lifestyle, etc. So I did look up to them, but back then, and I think still to now, my number one band has always been Third World. Yeah, and I think everybody knows Third World. 96 degrees in the shade. So they have always been my favorite. I love Third World's music, even today with the new singer, the new lead singer. I've loved that the fact they have always carried that positive message all the way through, and they have always kept me inspired, and I could listen to them anytime, anywhere, and even just driving. I mean, laying in bed, I could listen to them and be inspired.
Nice. A big part of your music is very purposeful music. Which one of your music do you think represents the best? Some of the messages that you have.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. You know, if I had to choose one song right now, I would choose "Get Up and Live." And it may not always be my favorite, but in terms of what I see the world needs right now and what my people need, is why I would choose that song.
Where does the sinking ship rank in your music?
The sinking ship, the sinking ship is still among the top 10, but the sinking ship speaks to what's happening to our people, the devastation. People, particularly in the West, in America and in other parts of the world, where people were taken formerly as slaves. Because these countries were really, we were taken there to be corrected. We were not there. We were not taken there to live, to spend all of our years there. Yeah, we were supposed to bring our power, our finances, our resources, our minds, our intelligence, everything that we developed was supposed to come back here to Africa. So I'm singing, sinking ship. It's singing to our people, telling them what's happening. You know. So just like it is with organic farming, you know, we see the chemical onslaught in agriculture, and while we can speak about the chemical onslaught, is what are we going to do now? What are we going to do differently? So that's why I said the sinking ships is a shake and wake up call. But then what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next is get up and live and apply all these principles. You know, so that's so then it's more giving direction and what we need to do, and I mean how we need to shift and what needs to happen next.